Guys, I want to do a quick video that is pretty much just because something we learned yesterday, which was kind of crazy. So yesterday, Kill Event started, and Shiggy and Dilly, who are pretty close, were evenly matched. And the first one was Shiggy hitting Dilly, right? So in this report, first off, let's show the basic stats of what's going on here, right? So Dilly has full charms of 4, and Shiggy's pretty close, but he's not fully there, right? A few places he's missing there. As far as the heroes, they're pretty much the same. Dilly has Petra and Gen 3 hero, and Shiggy has Gen 1 full maxed Jable, right? And then as far as the gear, it's pretty equal. I mean, I calculated it out, and I think Dilly has a slight edge, but generally it's all about the same. And then you look here, you know, everything looked about right. Like, if you look at the percentages themselves, like, Dilly has more categories he wins. But the loss was, like, pretty lopsided, right? So he lost 23,000 troops, or injured 23,000 troops, and Dilly lost 46,000 troops. So we're trying to figure out, like, what's going on with this, right? And my first thought is, well, it's probably because these are both fairly, like, offensive heroes. Like, Zoe isn't an offensive hero, but generally speaking, these are both offensive heroes. So if you have an offensive hero against offensive heroes, the offensive heroes aren't going to do as well on defense. So my first thought was like, well, maybe, switch it up. Have Dilly hit Shiggy and see what happens. So then Dilly hits Shiggy. Shiggy wins again. Now you can see it's much closer now. This now is just a difference by 2,000 injuries, right? But it's still like, oh my God, what is going on here? Now it really doesn't make sense. So we're thinking like, well, maybe it's because you have full starred Jable versus 4-starred Petra. Level, even though she's like Gen 1, she's still 5 stars. But then if you think about that, it doesn't really make sense because any difference in these heroes would show up in these stats. And again, the stats are showing that these are, Dilly's still slightly ahead. So then we look at the battle details, right? And so let's go back to this first one up here. In this first one here, when you start looking at the battle details, like, this is where you kind of see where the difference was. Primarily here, you see Jable is getting more kills for the skill. Even though Petra is doing 22 triggers and she's doing 18, Jable is still getting more kills. And then we looked at the other one too and just like, okay, what's going on with the other one? And so on this other one, again, Jable, it got way more triggers on this one and more kills this time. But see, the triggers don't seem to matter because if you look at the back one. So then I'm like, okay, what is going on? Like, this is the one skill that seems to be making the big difference. Like, Marlin isn't going to really make a difference because they're kind of the same both ways. It's just going to be a chance thing. But if you look at this, what this skill is Jable is getting 50% chance of 50% more damage, right? So that's a 25% of more damage. Petra's getting a 50% chance of 50% of squad attack. So it's kind of a very close thing where it's like 50%, 50%. So both are like 25% chances, but one's of damage while the other one is of attack. So then I was like, oh, maybe this is the difference, right? Because, if it's happening both times. So then I did my own little test on this, and I was like, okay, well, let me just send out an attack on a bear. So I did this. Nope, wrong one. Wrong one. All right, here it goes. So this one you have Marlin and Petra, right? And so if you're looking at this one for the battle details, Marlin is getting, only triggered once, but he's got 2 different ones that, this is a 40% chance of increasing damage dealt for all squads by 50, and this is 50% chance of damage dealt by 50, right? Whereas Petra got one and got no kills out of it. I did another one where it showed it a little bit better. This might have been a while back. Let me see if this one was one that showed a little bit better of a difference. There's one where it showed like 4,000 kills by Marlin and 16,000 kills by Marlin and 4,000 kills by Petra. So I think what this suggests is really what's going on is that damage. Well, let me go back a little bit. So when a while back, I'd asked the devs like, okay, do all these stats count in an attack or do only some count? Like, if I'm attacking, are the only 2 ones that matter like attack and lethality? Or is it like all of them? And they, they're very They don't like to tell you a lot about that, but they said, look, we're not going to tell you the equation, but basically it's like everything matters. It's just like, it's different how they matter. But if you think about this, what is damage? Damage is primarily attack and lethality, right? So if you're only having a skill that boosts one of the two things, you're probably not getting as good of a boost as you would with damage up, because damage is probably boosting both attack and lethality. So I think the bottom line thing is, if you're looking at skills, it looks like damage up or damage down is going to be much stronger than something like health up or defense up or attack up or lethality up, because you're only getting one of the two major skills going there, whereas damage up or damage down is taking, both of those into account. So I think that that's pretty accurate. I mean, it seems to make sense, and it seems to support what we did on this. Now, finally, I just want to show you one last thing on this this report. So afterwards, we also, I did my little bear attack and I did my test. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, Dilly, switch over to Jable and see if that makes any difference. And so we did that. And where is it? Yep, wrong one. Wrong one. Here we go. And then all of a sudden you see the difference. And finally, Dilly beats Shiggy. And the only difference there is that both Jables are there. And so this seems to support the conclusion that this skill is really the big important one. So here he triggered twice as many times, but got, significantly more kills. So anyways, that's the latest thing that I kind of learned about this. And I think that is pretty accurate of what's going on, is that those are the skills and how they work and the importance of them.